Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Quote of the day is: with the new day comes the new strengths and the new thoughts. Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Dr. Shajja Javed working as a PGR community medicine and I am going to present the topic of malaria under supervision of Professor Dr. Sair Afzal. Learning objectives. In today's session, we will have an introduction of malaria, history about malaria, problem statement, epidemiological triad of malaria, sign and symptoms, diagnostic methods for malaria, how to prevent malaria, the role of WHO in control of malaria, recent advances, and at the end, there will be MCQs. Learning outcomes. By the end of this presentation, participants will be able to understand the malaria etiology and transmission, recognize the clinical manifestation, diagnosis of malaria, understood the treatment protocol, explored the prevention strategies along with the challenges which are occurring in the efforts for the elimination of malaria. Introduction to malaria. Malaria is a parasitic disease caused by the Plasmodium species and transmitted through the bite of infected female Anopheles mosquito. It predominantly affects the tropical and subtropical region where the warm climates favor mosquito survival and the parasite life cycle completion. It remains one of the world's most significant public health challenge. Etymology. The word malaria is derived from the Italian word mala aria, which basically means bad air. It reflects the miasma theory which linked the disease to the foul air from the swamps. The historical name of malaria is ague or the marsh fever because of its association with the wetlands. The study of malaria is known as the malariology. Historical references to malaria. Indian physician Sushrita believed to be among the first one that attributed the disease to the mosquito. Hippocrates classified the periodic fever as a tertian, quartan, and the custodian. Malaria contributed to the decline of the Roman empires. Roman connected the disease to the swamp insects, and that's why it's also known as the Roman fever because of its prevalence in the specific regions. Problem statement. According to the latest World Malaria Report by WHO, 249 million cases of malaria were reported in 2022 as compared to 244 million cases in 2021. The estimated number of malaria deaths stood at 608,000 in 2022 as compared to the 610,000 in 2021. In children under the age of 5, there were around 608,000 deaths, which accounted for around 78% of all the malarial deaths. The WHO Falcon region continued to carry a disproportionately high share of the global malaria burden. In 2022, the region was home to about 94% of all malaria cases and 95% of the deaths. Malaria is still endemic in about 87 countries, with the majority of the cases in sub-Saharan Africa. WHO European region is malaria-free since 2015, as the last indigenous case occurred in Tajikistan in 2014. The United States eradicated malaria as a major public health concern in 1951. Though small outbreaks still persist, like in 2003, there is an outbreak in Florida by Plasmodium vivax, and in 2023 May, there is also an outbreak in Florida, Texas, Maryland. This graph shows the distribution of malaria. The white represents the area of the world where the malaria transmission is known to occur. The yellow represents the area where the malaria transmission occurs in sub-Mart, while the red represents the malaria transmission which are occurring throughout the area. Situation of malaria in Pakistan. From January through August 2022, more than 3.4 million suspected cases of malaria were reported, as compared to 2.6 million suspected cases which were reported in 2021. Over 170,000 cases were laboratory confirmed, with the majority reported as Plasmodium vivax. A rapid upsurge in cases were observed in Balochistan and Sindh provinces after the devastating floods in the mid-June 2022. Together, they account for about 78% of all the confirmed cases. Reports from the 62 high-burden districts indicate that the additional 210,715 cases were reported in September 2022. Epidemiological triad of malaria. Malaria is caused by the interplay of three factors. The host in the case is human, the causative agent is Plasmodium falciparum, and the environment. The vector is a female Anopheles mosquito. Malaria is caused by the Plasmodium, and there are approximately 156 named species of Plasmodium. 4 species are considered the true parasites of humans, as they utilize humans almost exclusively as their natural intermediate host. Plasmodium falciparum occur in about 75% of the cases, and it is the most severe form. The Plasmodium vivax occur in about 20% of the cases, and it can cause severe complications. Plasmodium malaria in a way. The Plasmodium knowlesi has a zoonotic origin. Agent factors: Anopheles mosquito behavior. Only female feed on the blood. The male mosquito feed on the plant nectar. They prefer the nighttime feeding from dusk to dawn. The mode of the transmission is it is transmitted through the bite of an infected female mosquito, which acts as a vector. The life cycle of the parasite involves the two hosts. In the mosquito, there is a sexual reproduction occurs, while in human, the asexual reproduction occurs and the disease manifestation occurs in the liver and the blood. This shows the life cycle of the mosquito, both the life cycle of the plasmodium in both the mosquito and the human. Life cycle of the Plasmodium parasite in the human. The Plasmodium is transmitted from the mosquito to the human. The sporozoites are injected during the mosquito bite. They travel by the bloodstream to the liver. And the liver stage parasites multiply into thousands of the merocytes. Now, in the blood stage, merocytes infect the RBCs. The cycle of the replication occurs in 24 to 72 hours, which leads towards the red blood cells destruction. Symptoms occur because of the high parasite level, which is greater than 100,000 per 100 ml of the blood. This is a normal cell, and this is a cell in red blood cell which is infected by the malaria, showing the adhesive knobs, and the malaria parasite is multiplying within the RBC. The host factors which affect the disease: immunity. Partial immunity develop in the individuals with a repeated exposure, but it doesn't provide the complete protection. Pregnancy. Reduced immunity in the pregnancy increases the susceptibility with the adverse effect like anemia and the low birth weight. Behavioral factors like the lack of the preventive measures such as not using the insecticide treated bed nets or the delayed health seeking behavior. The high-risk groups are the people who have the low immunity, like children under the age of the 5, pregnant women, or immunocompromised individual, travelers, migrants, or the displaced population which are coming from the area with a little or no malaria transmission and they lack the immunity. Genetic resistance to the malaria. Certain conditions provide some kind of protection against malaria that include the sickle cell trait, thalassemia traits, G6PD deficiency, or the absence of the Duffy antigen on the RBC. Environment factors: climate. Warm, humid environments are ideal for the mosquito breeding and the parasite survival. Rainfall creates a stagnant water which serves as the breeding site for the mosquito. High temperatures shorten the parasite's incubation period within the mosquito. Geography: endemic in the tropical and subtropical regions, particularly sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia and the parts of the South America. Socioeconomic condition: poor housing and the lack of access to the healthcare increase the vulnerability. Rural areas often have the high exposure due to the proximity to the breeding sites. Vector ecology: some Anopheles species are more efficient vector due to the feeding preferences and the breeding habits. Clinical symptoms: adults with malaria tend to experience chills, fever, headache, fatigue, abdominal discomfort, and the muscle pain, while the children tend to have more general symptoms, including fever, cough, vomiting, and diarrhea. Initial manifestation of the disease is common to all the species of malaria and is similar to the flu-like symptoms and can resemble other conditions like sepsis, gastroenteritis, or the viral disease. The symptoms include a central headaches, fever, muscular pain, fatigue, back pain, the chills, sweating, dry cough, and last spleen, and nausea and vomiting. The onset of symptoms occur 10 to 15 days after the mosquito bite, but it can occur as late as several months after the infection with some vivax strain. The incubation period for the falciparum is 9 to 14 days. For the vivax is 8 to 17 days. For Plasmodium ovale is 16 to 18 days. And for Plasmodium malariae, it's about 18 to 40 days. The symptoms of malaria occur in 3 stages. The first is a cold stage. As the temperature rises, there is an intense headache and a muscular discomfort. The patient feels cold, clutches at a blanket, and curls up shivering and uncommunicative. There is a peripheral vasoconstriction. Then there is a hot stage. Within the minute, the limbs begin to shake and the teeth chatter, and the temperature climbs rapidly to a peak between 39 to 41 Celsius. The rigor usually lasts for about 10 to 30 minutes. Afterwards, there is a sweating stage, and by the end of the rigors, there is vasodilation, and the skin feels hot. A profuse sweat then breaks out. The time between the fever episodes can be the characteristics of the infecting Plasmodium species. For the falciparum, the duration of the fever, which is the erythrocytic stage, is 36 to 48 hours. It's called as a malignant tertiary malaria. For the vivax, it's about 48 hours. It's called as a benign tertiary malaria. For Plasmodium ovale, it's 48 hours, which is known as the ovale tertiary malaria. And for Plasmodium malaria, it's about 72 hours, which is quartan malaria. The complications of malaria in CNS, it can cause cerebral malaria with a coma and convulsions. In renal, it results into the hemoglobinuria, which is black water fever, oliguria, and the acute renal failure. Metabolic disturbance like hypoglycemia or metabolic acidosis can occur. And the blood, it can result into severe hemolytic anemia with the DIC and ARDS. GI disturbances like diarrhea, jaundice, and splenic rupture can also occur, and other conditions include the shock or hypotension and hyperpyrexia. Cerebral malaria is severe malaria with a neurological symptoms which is caused by the Plasmodium falciparum. The symptoms arise 9 to 30 days after the infection, and the symptoms include abnormal posturing, nystagmus, gaze palsy, opisthotonus, seizures, and coma. Retinal whitening is a diagnostic sign. Coma or the Glasgow coma scale is less than 11 or less than 3 respectively. Coma lasts greater than 30 minutes after the seizure. Malarial hepatitis is a liver dysfunction caused by the malaria. It is rare unless there is a coexisting liver condition already occurring like viral hepatitis. The prevalence of the malarial hepatitis is increasing in Southeast Asia and India. It correlates with the higher complication rates and the mortality. The malaria can be classified into the uncomplicated malaria and complicated or severe malaria. In uncomplicated malaria, patient presents with a fever of greater than 37 degrees Celsius with a history of fever in the last 72 hours associated with one or following symptoms without any involvement of the major signs, symptoms, and the vital organ dysfunction. In the complicated severe malaria, patient will present with a fever of 37 degrees Celsius or the history of fever in the last 72 hours. It is associated with the presence of at least one of the following signs, symptoms of the vital organ involvement, which involve the impaired unconsciousness, prostration, multiple conversions, acidosis, hypoglycemia, severe malaria anemia, renal impairment, jaundice, pulmonary edema, or significant bleeding, along with shock. Recurrent malaria, there are different type of recrudescence. The symptoms return due to the inadequate treatment, which is the parasites present the blood stage and it is still persisting. Relapse, dormant hypnocytes in the liver reactivates. In the cases of the vivax and the ovale, they occur 8 to 24 weeks after the initial infection or even after a year later in some temperate regions. Reinfection is the new parasite which is being introduced after complete clearance from an earlier infection. Immunity development, partial immunity may develop with a frequent exposure in certain cases. For the prevention of malaria, the ABCD include A for awareness, be aware for the risk and symptoms. B is for the bite protection, avoid being bitten by the mosquito, especially between dawn to dusk. C is chemoprophylaxis, if a medicine is prescribed to you to prevent infection. D is diagnosis, immediately seek the diagnosis and treatment if a fever develops while you are in a malaria endemic region. And E for emergency. In primary prevention, the level focuses on preventing the onset of malaria by eliminating or reducing the exposure to the risk factors. It involves the community participation in education, like raising awareness about malaria control, informing community to reduce the mosquito breeding sites, and like covering the stagnant water, promoting personal protection measures such as wearing long sleeve clothing and using the insect repellents. Intermittent preventive therapy is targeted to the pregnant women, infants, and the seasonal transmission areas. Chemoprophylaxis, administration of the anti-malaria drugs to the high-risk group for the travelers to the malaria endemic area. Chemoprophylaxis drug must be started 2 to 3 weeks before departure. All the prophylactic drugs should be taken as per schedule for the duration of the stay in the malaria risk area and should be continued for about 4 weeks after the last possible exposure to the infection, since the parasite may still emerge from the liver during this period. Mass drug administration is the administration of the drugs to the entire population to reduce the transmission, and the malaria vaccines. Since October 2021, WHO has recommended the broad use of the RTS AS01 malaria vaccine among children which are living in the region with moderate to high Plasmodium falciparum malaria transmission. Control of the vector is done by the insect repellents, which are effective at repelling the mosquito containing DEET or Picardian. The ITNs are the insecticide-treated nets. They have more than 70% protection as compared to a no net. They provide a significant impact on reducing the transmission of malaria. Around 250,000 infant lives were saved between 2000 to 2008 in sub-Saharan Africa using the nets. IRS is the indoor residual spraying the insecticides or the indoor surfaces to kill the mosquito which are resting after the feeding. Housing modification for the malaria prevention strategies that include installing the window screens and screening doors. WHO recommend the screening houses as a prevention method in 2021. The secondary prevention aims to detect and treat malaria in its early stages to prevent the complication. The early diagnosis, the active case detection through the community health programs in the endemic area, and the prompt treatment, which is the administration of appropriate anti-malaria drugs as per the WHO guidelines, treating the asymptomatic carriers to reduce the reservoir infections. Diagnosis of malaria. Suspect is based upon the symptoms and the travel history, fever, anemia, and the travel to the malaria endemic area, and the children with anemia who have pale palms and the low hemoglobin level of less than 8 gram per deciliter. The blood film diagnosis is the gold standard, examining the Giemsa stained blood with a light microscopy. The thick blood film scans many cells quickly, while the thin blood film identifies the individual parasites and the species. Parasite detection threshold is greater than 100 parasite per microliter of the blood. The advantages of the blood film is it is reliable and widely accepted, and it identifies the Plasmodium species. But the challenges include it required a trained personnel and specialized equipment. Rapid detection test or RDT, it detects a parasite protein in the blood. The common targets include the histidine HRP2 protein by the Plasmodium falciparum, LDH, aldolase. HRP2 test is widely used in Africa but cannot distinguish the recent from the past infection. However, it is fast, easy to use, and there is no need for microscopy. Serological test detects the antibodies against the Plasmodium. It has poor sensitivity and specificity for the active infection. Nucleic acid amplification. It is highly sensitive but is expensive, and it is not used clinically. It is poorly specific for active malaria. Malaria treatment and management. According to WHO, the most common medicines for the treatment of malaria are artemisium-based combination therapy, which are most effective against Plasmodium falciparum. Chloroquine is recommended for the treatment of the infection with the Vivax species only in the places where it is still sensitive to this medicine. Primaquine should be added to the main treatment to prevent the relapses of the infection with the Plasmodium vivax and the oval parasites. Malaria treatment during the pregnancy. WHO recommends quinine plus clindamycin for the first trimester and ACT for the second and the third trimester. The treatment of the malaria depends upon the two concepts, the geographic pattern of the susceptibility of the Plasmodium falciparum to the anti-malaria drugs and the type of the Plasmodium species which is causing the infection. For the Vivax, malaria, and oval, we use the chloroquine plus primaquine, and for the Plasmodium falciparum, it is present in the chloroquine-sensitive area, chloroquine is given, and in the chloroquine-resistant area, quinine, mefloquine, sulfadoxine, and a pyrimethamine can be given. Chloroquine is given 25 milligram per kilogram divided over the 3 days. In the first day, 10 milligram per kilogram is given in the strat, then 5 milligram per kilogram. Day 2, 5 milligram per kilogram, and the day 3, 5 milligram per kilogram is given. Primaquine is given 7.5 milligram in per tablet. It is started concurrently with the chloroquine, 0.5 milligram per kilogram for 2 weeks. It should be taken with the food, and we need to check G6PD status before starting the primaquine. In a mild to moderate G6PD deficiency, primaquine 0.75 milligram per kilogram body weight can be given once a week for 8 weeks. In severe G6PD deficiency, primaquine is contraindicated and it should not be used. Tertiary prevention. This level focus on reducing the impact of complication which is caused by malaria and improving the quality of life for an affected individual. This includes rehabilitation, nutrition, psychological support for recovering patient, and support for the communities which are affected by malaria to rebuild the productivity and improve the living condition. The management of severe malaria, which is basically caused by the Plasmodium falciparum, it can be a medical emergency with a high mortality of 10 to 50%. In that cases, parental artesunate is superior to quinine. The supportive care, like in the case of fever management, severe control, and monitoring the vital signs is required. Cerebral malaria in the patient is a comatose state in cerebral malaria, and it includes a supporting care, nursing care, catheter insertion, NG tube, and benzodiazepine for the conversions. Surveillance and elimination of malaria. Case detection can be done by the passive case detection, in which cases are identified when the individuals seek care at the healthcare facilities. For example, diagnosing through the rapid diagnostic test or the microscopy in clinics. Active case detection is when healthcare workers actively search for the cases in the community, especially in the high risk or the remote area. For example, screening in the household during an outbreak or in the endemic area. Cases are then classified as a confirmed cases which has been diagnosed using a laboratory test like RDT, microscopy, or the molecular test. And indigenous cases are the locally acquired infection, while the imported cases are the infections which are acquired in one area and they are detected in another area. History of elimination of malaria. In 1880, Charles Louis Alphonse discovered the malaria parasite in the human blood, earning the Nobel Prize in 1907. Sir Ronald identified the role of Anopheles mosquito in the transmission of malaria in 1897, which revolutionized the control strategy. In 20th century, quinine, which is derived from the bark of the cinchona tree, was the first effective treatment for the malaria, and it remained a mainstay treatment for centuries. In World War II and the post-World World War era, there is an invention of the DDT, which included dichlorophenyl trichloroethene, which emerged during the World War as a powerful insecticide for controlling the mosquito population. Its widespread use significantly reduced the malaria in many regions, especially in the temperate climates. Global Malaria Eradication Program from 1955 to 1969. It is led by WHO. This program aimed to eradicate malaria worldwide through the Indo-Residual Spraying IRS with DDT, mass drug administration of anti-malaria like chloroquine. While successful in eliminating malaria in some regions like Europe, North America, and the parts of Asia, the program faced challenges in sub-Saharan Africa due to the funding shortage, resistance in mosquitoes and parasites, and a weaker health system. Millennium Developmental Goal MDGs, the early 2000s saw global recommitment to malaria control and elimination under MDGs. Rollback Malaria Program is a partnership which is launched in 1998, which coordinated global efforts to fight the malaria. There are certain challenges in malaria elimination, which include the biological challenges like drug and insecticide resistance, social, cultural, and behavioral challenges, community engagement, migration and mobility problem, gaps in the surveillance, policy and political inadequacy, inadequate resources, technological and scientific challenges, and weak governance. Recent advances. The Global Technical Strategy for Malaria Control 2016 to 2030 was adopted by World Health Summit in May 2015. It provides a comprehensive framework to guide countries in their efforts to accelerate the program towards a malaria elimination. The strategy sets a target for reducing global malaria incidence and mortality rates by at least 90% by 2030. Vision, goals, and principles. The vision of the WHO and the global malaria community is a world free from malaria. It has developed the certain goals, which include reducing the malaria mortality rates globally by 90%, reducing the malaria case incidence globally by 90%, eliminate malaria from the countries in which malaria was transmitted in 2015 at least by 35% of the country, and prevent re-establishment of malaria in all the countries that are malaria free. To achieve these goals, a strategic framework has been developed, which includes three main pillars. The pillar one ensure access to the malaria prevention, diagnosis, and treatment as a part of the universal health coverage. Pillar two, accelerate the efforts towards the elimination and attainment of the malaria-free status. And the pillar three, transform malaria surveillance into the key intervention. Supporting elements. One is harnessing innovation and expanding research, basic research to foster innovation and development of new and improved intervention, implement research to optimize impact and the cost effectiveness of existing intervention, and action to facilitate the rapid uptake of the new intervention. The supporting element two is strengthening the enabling environment with a strong political and financial commitment, multi-sectorial approach, stewardship of the entire health system, and capacity development. Malaria control in Pakistan. Malaria control has always been a priority for the government of Pakistan. National Malaria Control Program was started in 1950. In 1960, Malaria Control Program was converted into Malaria Eradication Program under the auspices of WHO with the financial and technical support from WHO, UNICEF, and USAID. In 1977, Malaria Control Program was integrated into the health services as a part of a communicable disease control in Punjab province. This program forges consensus among the key actors in the malaria control, harmonizes the action, and mobilizes the resources to fight the malaria endemic area. It aims to reduce the malaria association morbidity, mortality by keeping malaria under effective control. The strategies include the rapid provision of the rapid diagnostic kit, provision of the radical treatment within 24 hours of the diagnosis, making an integrated vector control measure, training of the master trainers to improve the performance in diagnosis of the malaria, monthly review meeting regarding the CDC activity by the Director Health Service in FY year 2014 to 15, and they were awarded appreciation certificates. Surprising visits were conducted by the CDC staff to check out the performance. Genomic research. Genome of the Plasmodium falciparum was sequenced in 2002, revolutionized the search of malaria. The new vaccine candidates under trial are 21 in October 2023. The WHO recommended this second vaccine, which demonstrated about 77% of the efficacy. mRNA-based vaccine, which is BNT 165, which is under development. Phase 1 trials has been started since December 2022. Use of the CRISPR for the genetic modification for the mosquitoes, gene-drive technology to spread the genetic traits in the wild population, such as resistance to the malaria parasite, genetic manipulation of the mosquito to control the malaria transmission. Genetically modified mosquitoes like Anopheles stephensi can be engineered to resist malaria transmission. To highlight the need for the continued investment and sustained political commitment for the prevention of malaria and control, it was instituted by WHO member state during the World Health Assembly in 2007 to celebrate World Malaria Day, which is celebrated each year on 25th of the April. MCQs. MCQs number 1. A patient was diagnosed having malaria, which is caused by the Plasmodium falciparum. It shows the signs of the AKI and dark-colored urine. Which complication has most likely occurred? A. Liver failure. B. Blackwater fever. C. Nephrotic syndrome. D. Hepatic in calf. And E. Cerebral malaria. B. Blackwater fever is the correct answer. Second, a community survey in a malaria endemic area show an increase in insecticide resistance in Anopheles mosquito. What should be the next step in control of malaria? A. Switch to oral anti-malaria distribution. B. Introduce the insecticide-treated nets with a different insecticide. C. Promote bed net use without insecticide. D. Increase mass drug administration. And E. Promote vaccines at a young age.
C.
B is the right option. In a malaria endemic region, a significant drop in the malaria cases is reported by community health workers. What is the most likely explanation for this drop of the cases? A. Widespread use of the insecticide treated net. B. Increase in chloroquine resistance. C. Reduction in the vaccination rates. D. Increased rainfall. E. Climate change which kills the mosquito. A. Widespread use of insecticide. Yes, A is the right answer. Number 4, a young boy of 26 years of age comes with a history of fever and chills. He is suspected of malaria. What investigation is essential to confirm the diagnosis? A. Lumbar puncture. B. Thick and thin film smear. C. PCR. D. CT. And E. ELISA.
B.
B is the correct answer. Number 5, a 12-year-old boy with a history of malaria treatment 2 weeks ago presents now with a dark color urine and jaundice. Physicians suspecting that it is caused by some complication due to a drug. What complication has most likely occurred? A. Renal failure. B. Hemolysis because of the G6PD deficiency. C. Hepatitis. D. Cerebral malaria. And E. Liver failure. B. Hemolysis due to the G6PD deficiency is the right answer. 6, a healthcare worker monitors malaria control in the refugee camp. What is the most effective strategy to reduce the malaria transmission in such a setting? A. Mass vaccination against malaria. B. Distribution of insecticide-treated nets. C. Use of the mosquito repellents. D. Routine prophylactic treatment with chloroquine. And E. Vaccinating the entire population. B. Distribution of the insecticide-treated nets is the right option. Number 7, during a malaria outbreak, a community health worker observes that the children under the 5 years of age have the highest morbidity and mortality. What is the primary reason for the demographic vulnerability? A. Higher parasite load. B. High physical activity and metabolism. C. Weaker immunity. D. Poor sanitation practices. And E. Lack of vaccination. C. Weaker immunity is the right answer. A 10-year-old boy in a malaria endemic village develops a hypoglycemia and seizure. Thick and thin film smear confirm malaria, which is caused by the Plasmodium falciparum. What additional complications should be closely monitored in the case of the Plasmodium falciparum? A. Hepatitis. B. Cerebral malaria. C. Splenic rupture. D. Pneumonia. And E. Heart failure. B. Cerebral malaria is the right answer. A malaria control team recommends mass drug administration in a high transmission area. What is a key consideration before implementing this intervention? A. Risk of the side effects. B. Lack of the vaccination program. C. Availability of the diagnostic tools. D. Cost effectiveness. And E. Development of drug resistance. E. Development of drug resistance is the correct answer. Number 10. Malaria is an infectious disease that affects human and causes a plethora of symptoms. How can one acquire malaria? A. Coughing on someone. B. Physical contact. C. An infected mosquito biting you. D. Drinking infected water. Or E. Infected needles. See an infected mosquito biting. Here's the correct answer. This is the key to MCQs. The link to YouTube channel where all the presentations will be uploaded. Thank you.